All right, ladies, so I'm getting ready to put back this motor back together. And one of the things that I wanted to discuss is some of the issues that Suzuki had with the 1986 to 1992 LT 250Rs. A common failure for the motor was the wrist pin bearing and the thrust washers. This is the OEM wrist pin bearing, and this is the thrust washer. And what it did is it has this little inlet here that you can see, which allows the bearing to sit inside of it like this. And then obviously the pin goes through there inside the motor. The problem with that is it moves slightly, then over time, these arms, or this race, if you will fail because of the normal function of the motor. The race will fail, and then one of these will fall into the engine and cause catastrophic failure in your piston and your cylinder. So a workaround on this wrist pin bearing is if you buy a Suzuki RM 250 for I think it's 1989 or 1987. It's a little bit smaller. Here's the part number for the wrist pin bearing. Is B as in Bravo 1014. And you can see it's just a little bit smaller than the OEM bearing or wrist pin bearing. And what that allows you to do is if you buy these billet thrust washers, they sell these on eBay. A guy I think up in Canada makes these, but these are billet thrust washers, and these replace the race thrust washer with a billet piece that's a little bit stronger, and there is no race on it. So because you use this 89 RM 250 wrist pin, it goes like this, and it goes like this, and now you have a design that's bulletproof and won't fail on you like the OEM will. So I'll put this together. Hopefully it'll make a little more sense when you see it all together. But this is what I'll be doing, installing on the motor. I won't be using the OEM race, the OEM bearing at all. So I'll be using the thrust washers, billet thrust washers, and the 89 RM 250. And again, here's the part number for that in case you want to order it for yourself. And the guy sells these on eBay. I think they're about $20 or $18, free shipping to the house. This wrist pin bearing was, I think it was 16 bucks. So let's get this thing installed so you can see what it looks like. All right, so here's the setup all put together so you kind of get an idea of what it looks like. There's the billet thrust washers, all nice and flush and set in. And the guy makes a really, really good product. Tolerance are spot on. There's no movement at all. But now you have billet thrust washers versus those steel ones with a race, and this is billet all the way through. It's not gonna fail on you like the OEM one will. So just so you get an idea, that's what it looks like when it's all set together. So I'll go ahead and get this cylinder put back in, get this engine slapped back together, and get this thing installed into the motor. I'm probably just gonna do a good degreasing. I don't know, I might paint it, I'm not sure yet. I kind of want to just get this thing running for now, and then later on take it apart again and send the jug to get a nice port job on it. But for right now, I just need to get it running, get some ride time in, because I really want to get to riding this thing. I don't want to wait sending the cylinder out for a port job and just delaying this reassembly. So let's get this thing put back together. All right, so there it is all installed. The piston, just kind of give you an idea. There is thrust washers. The billet thrust washers are all nice and set in there. Tolerances are really tight. We got no play in the wrist pin at all. So the billet thrust washers are in, the circlips are in, and the pin is in. So got no play in this thing at all. So it's pretty good. So let's get this rest of this thing installed. All right, so I got the jug on. Pretty easy, not too bad. This there's a piston. Working good. So let's get this thing buttoned up, get the head on. After that, I'll do a good wash, good degrease. I don't know if I'm gonna paint the motor or not, we'll see. But let's get to the next steps. All right, ladies, here's an update, kind of what's going on the rebuild, the frame off rebuild on the Suzuki LT 250R, the 91. We also have the 87. 91's coming along pretty good. I ended up dropping the motor in, gotten the motor all set. She's looking good, kind of got her nice and cleaned up. All the old bolts were kind of mismatched stuff, so we got a bolt kit for actually the entire bike, but kind of makes the bike look a lot better when it's nice and clean and degreased and fresh bolts and not rusted all over. So these are stainless steel bolt kit. I still have this cracked case, so I think I got an idea that'll work for that. I'm still kind of working on a couple of things, but I got something that I think I can put in there just to prevent any future cracks on the case. So everything's back together, new fresh top end. I put in a new piston, new wrist pin bearings, billet thrush washers, gasket kit for the whole top end. The bottom end was good. I checked the crank, there didn't have any play in it. So we drained the oil, there was no shavings in the bottom case. So I'm pretty confident in the bottom case. But the whole top end has been replaced. Got the super duper foot pegs on. Those things are awesome. There is the aftermarket radiator. The cool thing with this aftermarket radiator, it holds 40% more coolant than the stock one. So especially when you're out here in California, it gets really, really hot. So you definitely want to have as much coolant as you possibly can. The steering stem right there is an anti-vibe steering stem. It's a +2. Got that thing installed. +2 anti-vibe steering stem. Those bars are clone flex bars. They're called Apes. They're on Amazon. I'm gonna test them out. I actually like them They're built pretty well. Amazon, I think they are like $160 on Amazon, but they do provide some good flex downwards. I'll have to do another review on that, like once I get everything together. There's the new brake lines, stainless steel coated, +2 brake lines, because I do have +2 A-arms that I'm putting on, just haven't put them on yet. And the cool thing with those is it saves a lot of weight, because here's the old lines here. Yeah, 2 of them. It's just old hard lines and old and crappy. So new brake lines should be good to go. There's the steering stabilizer that I welded. I welded this. Remember, I welded this bracket there. Got that thing all mounted in. Things looking good. Works well. Doesn't hit anything. So that stabilizer came out pretty good. There it is in action right there. So stabilizer's good to go. +2 anti-vibe stem, plus the 8 handlebars, which are the flex clones. See how those work. Other than that, she's coming along well. Got all the electronics kind of tied up for right now. New cooling lines over here. So things coming along really, really good. Next thing I got to work on is installing the front A-arms. I have to rebuild the rear swing arm with all new bushings and bearings in the rear swing arm and get that thing rebuilt and throw that thing on. But not too far away. The electronics are good. So I'm pretty excited to hopefully get that done here in a couple of weeks and be riding this damn thing. I did order, I don't have any wheels for the 92, so we have I found some carbon fiber front wheels right here. There's the real wheels in that box. but nice carbon fiber wheels that I'm gonna be putting on there. These are old rings, so I got some new rings for it. So I need to get those mounted up, but those are carbon fiber front wheels and rear wheels. There is the 87 that we scored a couple weeks ago. We did put this thing together. It was fairly easy to get this thing running. We took it apart because my first impression, I was going to remove that engine, the 87, and put the 87 into the 92. Kind of tore it down a little bit and kind of like, you know, I'm just gonna stick with my 92 and let the 87 be an 87. So we'll put this thing back together. There's the OEM radiator. Not as big as the aftermarket one, which holds about 40% more coolant in that thing. So this 87 does run good. I'll put a video of us starting it right here. Check it out. And we did take it up. We rode this thing pretty hard for a couple of days. It runs perfect, has really no issues. Suspension is fairly good, rear shock's good. So get this thing back together, get this thing running. There's the tires for the 92, front and rear. So I got to get those installed onto the carbon fiber wheels and get those things moving forward. Got to clean up the air box. Here's the stainless bolt kit for everything else I need to put together and put on. Remember, if you are going to use any kind of stainless bolt kit, you have to use anti-seize on all of your mounts, especially your blind holes for stainless steel. So make sure you're using that. Keep a good tube of grease because you need to lube up a lot of things. And of course, some thread locker, red and blue, is much needed. Here's the carbs for the 87. I pulled this thing out, did a complete rebuild on the carb, cleaned everything out, put new lines in it, and this thing runs okay. It's a Mikuni, but I think for the 92, we're gonna run a Kian, a PWK Air Striker 36. So this is a Kian PWK Air Striker 36. However, it is a clone. There's no, see, there's the PWK, but there's no Kian symbol there. But the reason why I like the Kian or the Kian clone, whatever you call it, I actually like the Kian, but I know jetting on these PWKs, I know them well. I've done a lot of jetting on these, so I know those fairly well. It's a true and tried carb. So it has the Chinese jets in it now. I'll take out all of the brass stuff and put in actual Kian jets and get this thing hopefully dialed in with some good tuning on the carb. I do know the PWK Air Striker really well. It is a lot easier to tune than the Mikuni. So that's what's going on the 92. We'll keep the Mikuni on the 87. Here is all the bearings for the rear swing arm and everything I need to put in and press in for the rear axle as well. We got new bearings for those, for the carrier, so I got to press all that stuff back in. Here's pretty cool. Here is the actual V-Force. We bought a V-Force reed for the 87, and here's the stock reed for the 92. The cool thing with the 87, if you guys remember telling you like how big the intake is, I mean, look at that. The intake on the 87 250R is gigantic when compared to the 88 to 92. I mean, this thing is huge. This reed is the same one that they put in the LT 500. That's how big it is. So we already ordered this for the 87. I already have a V-Force reed coming for the 92. It's just not here yet. But we're gonna put the 87 V-Force reed in and get a little bit better throttle response and hopefully clean up some of the burping issues that we're having. So that is that. There is the swing arm that I need to tear down, get all the bearings out, get this thing degreased, cleaned up, and prepped for to be installed. There is the axle, or the carrier. I need to get that axle out of there and the new bearings put into there as well, which are here. So that is pretty much it. I do get a lot of questions on this. I kind of wanted to give an update of what was going what was going up, and the bike is coming along well. And I'm really excited to have an 87. This thing runs good. So we hopefully can run the 87 up against the 92 and get some races done and get this thing back on the trails and doing what it loves to do. So I'm hoping to have this all put together within a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I kind of been getting home from work, putting in a couple hours a night, and then just getting this thing moving along slowly. Brake lines are down there. They are +2 brake lines, and I just have them taped off so no debris will get in them for right now. That is pretty much it. If you have any questions, this thing is coming along nice. I'm pretty excited to have or rebuilding a frame off rebuild on a 92 Suzuki LT 250R. All right, ladies, thank you.